It is hard to fathom that there's a bigger fault than his. He was the #2 overall player in the nation. And the saddest part about it is, it's all his fault. He has no one to blame but himself. Many years ago, this was the #1 quarterback in the nation. Before transferring to Long Beach Poly, he would attend Westlake High School located in California, where he wasn't just the #1 quarterback in the nation, he was the second best overall player in the nation according to the ESPN 300. He was said to be, and I quote, one of the smoothest quarterbacks of his time. If being a top-ranked quarterback wasn't enough for you, he was also a really good baseball player. It goes without being said, every school in the nation wanted this young man. He looked like the next big thing. After a long recruiting process, he would eventually decide to commit and sign with the Florida State Seminoles. At this point in time, life was great for Malik Henry. But little did we and Malik Henry know, after signing with Florida State, his career would take a drastic, and I mean a drastic turn. He would find himself in some trouble. And when I say trouble, I want you to understand early on in this video, a little foreshadowing, not just 1, 2, or 3 things he did. It was more so of 10 plus things. I lost count. I'll put it to you like this. I hope this gives you a better perspective. It was so perplexing to me when I was doing all the research and gathering information for this video. I really think this was a social experiment to see how fast he could sabotage his own career. Obviously, I'm kind of joking, but like I said, when I was doing the research, that's how it seemed to me. The things this young man was doing, it leaves you wondering, man, what was going on in Malik Henry's brain? None of it's rational at all, and one thing that's even crazier about all this is when he wasn't getting in trouble, he was balling out on the field. But as you can probably put 2 and 2 together here, the one thing that held him back is not anything on the field, everything off the field. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in this intro, my apologies, he was also a star on Netflix. We'll get to that later in the video, stay tuned. There's many questions people have been asking about this guy even till this day. But however, it all circles back to the one big question we're going to try to get to the bottom of in today's video. What really happened to Malik Henry? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm not going to hold you too much, but I do want to give y'all an up-to-date on the channel. It is that time of the year where we bring back the documentaries. Sometimes I refer to them as the what happened to videos, the where is this guy videos, how this guy ruined his career. Y'all get the point. Whatever you want to call them, it's fine by me. Just want to drop by and say we're going to make more of these videos in the future. So if you have any requests or recommendations, leave a comment down below. And who knows, we might make that video. If you were watching the channel around this time last year, you would know 98% of the videos we made were based off of top like comments. This isn't a hidden secret on the channel. Your boy Matt is a fan of the people, and I want to get the people what they want. It's as simple as that. Many more things I could say. We're just going to get straight into this. Imagine I just gave you some corny YouTuber speech of how you should subscribe to the channel, yada, 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 and let's get into it. You already know, to get into Mr. Malik Henry's story, we got to throw it all the way back to where things started. Like I was telling you in the intro, he would start out his career at Westlake High School, but would eventually transfer to Long Beach Poly. I like to skim through these high school glory days relatively fast because it's the same thing for every single player. They dominated. At one point in time, he was listed as a 5-star recruit and the #2 overall player in the nation, but when it was all said and done, he fell to a 4-star. I know, right? Big bummer. He fell from a 5 to 4-star, but here was his final scout grade on 24/7 Sports. 4-star recruit, 96 overall out of 100, pretty dang good, 53 nationally. Still what I would label as a top-tier recruit. Every school in the country, they wanted him. Long story short, he decides to commit and sign with the Florida State Seminoles. Clap it up. Clap it up. Good pickup for them. Or at least, that's what we thought. I want to emphasize this a little bit, though. This wasn't some randeezy 4-star recruit. No. He was in the Elite 11. If you don't know what the Elite 11 camp is, that's where all the top quarterbacks in the nation go. Even for Florida State standards at the time, they were like, oh yeah, we got a stud. And he would ball out for Florida State. As a freshman quarterback in their spring game, I want you to take a listen to these stats. 15 for 22, almost 70%, not bad. 205 passing yards with 2 touchdowns. Freshman. There was a lot of hype building around Malik Henry after that spring game, especially heading into the 2016 season. What's interesting to note heading into that season is that Sean McGuire was expected to be the guy who wins the starting job. But he wasn't going to be the starter at the beginning of the season because he had to miss a couple weeks due to a minor surgery on his foot. So it then looked like this was between freshman quarterback DeAndre Francois, who we've already made a video on, and Malik Henry. Well, ironically enough, right before the season, Jimbo Fisher comes out and says, yep, Malik Henry, he is suspended from the team. And to this day, Jimbo Fisher has never said why he suspended Malik Henry. Florida State never spoke about it. It was just a big question mark. It was like, well, dang, What happened? Although Florida State never publicly said why they got rid of Malik Henry, there was a wide narrative going around according to some sources, which we'll get into later in this video, a little foreshadowing, that it was because of drugs. At the end of the season, here's what Henry said, and I quote, "I've decided to transfer from Florida State University. I want to thank Coach Fisher and his staff for giving me the opportunity to be a student athlete at FSU. I wish him and the team nothing but success. At this time, I don't know what university I will be attending in the future." So although things weren't going too great for Malik Henry, not a big deal, not the end of the world. He'll still get another chance. Sure, he made a whoopsie-daisy or a mistake at Florida State, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the end-all be-all. In January of 2017, he would announce that he's going to be transferring to Independence Community College. I think we can all agree that is a pretty significant drop-off, going from the number 2 overall prospect in the nation at one point in time in his high school career to now community college. And I think many out there would attest to this. That definitely humbles you. Most people in this predicament would be on their best behavior and try to get in and get out as quickly as possible. You may also think with him going through what happened at Florida State, he would be more mature and he would grow and learn from that. Well, apparently he didn't, because his time at Independence Community College wasn't so great. On the field, he was an okay football player, nothing special, nothing to get too riled up about. In his career, he only completed 52% of his passes, had 1,600 passing yards with 11 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Not very good. But it was how he acted in the Netflix series known as Last Chance U that got everybody's attention. What is the best way to say this? I mean, there's so many words and phrases you could use to describe Malik Henry and his actions. I'm just going to say he had an attitude problem. I know that's me being vague, but if you've seen the show, I think that sums it up the best. Immature is a good word, and also just had a lot of character flaws. I did a lot of digging and research. Here is what somebody had to say on a Reddit post 7 years ago. This was in response to the original comment and post right here. Does anyone know why Malik Henry hasn't signed anywhere? As a Nole fan, I'm just confused as to why this talented quarterback hasn't returned to D1. This user responds, "Okay, so made a throwaway for this one. I have no proof for you, so take what I say as you see it fit. I have the privilege of coaching college football. Last year, I worked at the JUCO Malik Henry played at, Independence. I left right before the summer for another much better job, so I will not be on Last Chance U Season 3. Malik arrived on the campus in January of 17. His dad was a helicopter parent, and for good reason. He knew his son and what he would do. To say Malik was a douche and overall cancer to the team is an understatement. From his first, in all caps, night, he was involved in a fighting incident and a bunch of other altercations. It should be noted that the campus is literally filled with security cameras. You can't scratch your butt without a camera seeing it. Malik was always in trouble, never at curfew check, not even once. Always was in some sort of fight, and then of course on top of that, the reason he got kicked out of FSU, I don't even know if I can say that word on YouTube. I'm going to block that out. I said Coke, and I'm not talking about Coca-Cola. He was super skinny, had all sorts of joint problems, don't know if they were related, but he couldn't participate in our workout program. He did his own special program on the side while we did ours. I don't know how he was getting the drugs, but he was, and it was a huge problem. Like I said, I left towards the summer, have no idea how he was during the season, but the TLDR, he is a crap person and teammate who does a lot of drugs. Yeah. There's that. Like he even stated at the beginning of the statement, do as you please with this information. If you want to believe this comment, that's up to you. If you don't want to believe it, it's up to you. I understand either side. But here's my 2 cents on what we just read off, what you're looking at right here. Number one, I don't know why anyone would make this up. And number two, I don't know how you would make this up. Look how detailed it is. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying normally you don't see people going out of their way to lie about something like this. They have no incentive. This isn't like you're posting an article on Patrick Mahomes for some clickbait. No, this is Malik Henry. Nobody's searching up Malik Henry. If I had to give you my best educated guess, I believe this statement because number one, if you saw how he acted on Last Chance U, this adds up totally. And then two, why else would Florida State kick him off for? My apologies, suspend him. Because of drugs. You don't just suspend a guy because he's not showing up to classes and something minor. No, it has to be something big, especially if they're not talking about it, like Jimbo Fisher wasn't at the time. After having a not-so-stellar career at Independence Community College, he would then transfer to Nevada. Nevada took a chance on him, and I almost forgot to mention, he walked on there. And what's crazy is due to some quarterbacks getting hurt ahead of him on the depth chart, he wound up starting a couple of games. He appeared in 3 games, completed 54% of his passes, had 600 passing yards, but had only 1 touchdown and 4 INTs. Not good. Not good at all. But although he wasn't playing lights out, here was the best part of all of it. He was at least playing. Things were sort of, at that point in time in his story and career, looking up for him. They were getting better in what they were. But just like Malik Henry did at Florida State at Independence College, he found himself in some more trouble. I'm telling you, man, I think, and it's not a conspiracy theory, it's just a conclusion, he was seeking this trouble out. He would get in multiple what's labeled as quote-unquote off-the-field issues, and the Nevada head coach had to indefinitely suspend him and remove him from the team due to, and I quote, behavioral concerns. In other terms, like I told you earlier, if I can sum it up, long story short, he's got attitude problems. Similar thing to what happened at Florida State. Although they didn't permanently suspend him or remove him from the team, he left anyways. He did have 1 year of eligibility left, but here's the problem for Malik Henry. Nobody wanted him. Obviously, the NFL was not interested, so he decided to pursue a professional career elsewhere. The IFL. Yes, that's right, you heard me correctly. The IFL, which stands for the Indoor Football League. He joined the Frisco Fighters, where he had a semi-decent career, had about 800 passing yards and 10 touchdowns. In 2022, he would then sign with the Jacksonville Sharks of the NAL, National Arena League. That is a league you don't hear of every day, but not too long after he got released. I want y'all to think about this. When you see someone get released from an NFL team, it's like, NFL, tough league, you got to respect it. But getting released from the NAL, has a tough look. Not too long after, in the same year, 2022, he signed with the Carolina Cobras. For the Cobras, he was pretty dang good. Had 3,000 passing yards, led the league, had 60, let me repeat that, 60 passing touchdowns, and one game had 10 touchdowns and led his team to the championship game. Unfortunately, they lost to his former team, the Jacksonville Sharks, but still, heck of a year. Fast forward time a little bit to 2024, I would say he upgraded. He signed with the Edmonton Elks out of the CFL, which you should be familiar with, the Canadian Football League. So, all right, now you can kind of respect it. We're back up outside of that Arena League bullcrap, and we're in the Canadian League. He didn't last long with them. About 5 to 6 months later, in June, he got released. This is when, and we're into our current date of time of January of 2025. Only a few months ago, he signed with the Arizona Bandits out of the Arena Football 1 League. What is this? Hold on. Yeah, their initials. I thought I was looking at it wrong. AF1. Arena Football 1. I've never heard of that league in my life. You learn something new every day. I'm not going to hold you. The Arizona Bandits is crazy. Anyways, in March, the league announced that the Bandits would be unable to compete in the 2025 season. Therefore, Henry, he just went back into free agency. A few days later, he signed with the San Antonio Gunslingers. What a name, out of the IFL. So we're back to the Indoor Football League. Only a month later, in April 2025, he was released. Somebody sent me a picture of it on Instagram. Shout out to you. You know who you are. This is him. I think I speak for everybody when I say this. He looks rough. I don't know if it's the picture. I don't know if he's upset. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it looks like a man who just got released. Somebody said, this who the media painted Shedeur to be. Since I've seen how big of a tool bag he was years ago, I'm not surprised. Bruh, this fall off is so bad. I mean this in the most respectful way possible. I'm never going to crap on a man for chasing his dream. But this is the bottom of the barrel. Getting released from the IFL. Not even the CFL, the Canadian Football League. The IFL. And I just realized, this video has came to an abrupt ending, but that is the newest and new up to date. That only happened this only happened a week ago. It's absurd how fast this guy's career got derailed, but I got to clap it up to him. I know that's going to be unpopular because he had attitude problems everywhere he went. He reaped what he sowed. However, I got to applaud a man that continues to try and he never gives up. And who knows? Maybe he has fixed those attitude problems. Maybe he's gotten better since then. I don't know. Maybe he still is a jerk. Maybe he's still a butthole. But I don't want to critique him and crap on him too much because I'll leave that up to you guys in the comment section. I know y'all do that. I'm not going to label him as the biggest what if of all time because that's for guys like Marcus Dupree. If you know, you know. But he's a small what if. And all throughout this video, I've continued to think about this. If he could have just stayed out of trouble, who knows how good he could have been at Florida State. Maybe he could have been, there's no one and dones in college football. That's college basketball. But maybe he could have been a guy that just dominates college ball for a couple years, 3 years, and then goes to the NFL. I don't think that's unrealistic. I'm going to show you this stat line again. In the spring game, as a freshman, 15 for 22, 200 passing yards, and 2 touchdowns. That is unheard of. You do not see freshmen, by the way, he was an early enrollee, which makes it even crazier than what it already was. You just don't see people doing that in a spring game. He didn't even know the playbook. But then there's the argument of, well, Matt, when he was at Independence College and played a lot in that Nevada, he wasn't nothing special, and I'd agree. But for me, I think at that point in time, he was already damaged goods. I'm saying, what if he didn't have the attitude problems and character flaws? Who knows what could have happened? That's what makes these videos so entertaining and interesting to me, because just all the questions we can come up with at the end. Hopefully some of my younger athletes can learn from this. Just make smart decisions. Focus on football. Stay out the way. Many more things I could say when it off here. Let me know your thoughts down below. But